Hello everybody. Today I'm gonna make a quick analysis of some of the stocks that I trade the most. This is my primary watch list. So I have Apple, Amazon, Disney, Google, Meta, Microsoft, and Tesla. So this would be pretty short, I hope. So Apple, on the daily chart, every single analysis that I'm gonna do is gonna be based on the daily chart. So I see that what I'm looking at here is this level right here at 180, and this gap right here that we have after earnings. Earnings were not impressive. I think that the jump that we had here on this stock was due to the buyback, which seems to be pretty massive. So I'm just looking at this level at 180. I think is if Apple goes under this level, chances are that we're going to cover this gap. But it also has a little bit of a chance to rebound in here and getting some momentum. But I honestly think that this is probably going to go down in this direction. But we'll see. What I see here is that the MACD, the indicators that I use here is the MACD, the TSI, and the RSI. And here I basically have the 921 EMA, and well, this green guy right here, which I'm going to erase, is Anchor VWAP, and this right here is 35 EMA. I use this mostly when I trade swings, and I base my trade on the one-day chart. So yes, this is what I think. I think there is a pretty decent chance that we're going to cover gaps. I don't like when I see stocks pretty much gapping and just keep running. I believe that at one point there's going to come back and retrace to cover the gap and possibly going up again. So I think Apple, we all have to take a look at this 180 level and assess the direction, which is a good chance that it's going to bounce here, but I also see that it can go down at least to the 175 and then start going here. So we have these two levels, 180 and 174. This is something that we have to keep in mind. So now let's take a look at Amazon really quick. And I like Amazon. So there's two things that we can see here. And again, I have this anchor view up right here. Let's get rid of it. And let's start with the MACD and the TSI. So what I like when I see this kind of momentum here, it would be very optimal if the signal goes under the histogram here and start bouncing back. But in this case, it's bouncing on the histogram and going up. And normally when I see this kind of behavior with between the MACD and the TSI, normally that momentum continues going up. What I don't like is that it's over the zero line in this case, and in this case as well, the histogram. And another thing that you can see here is that on the 189, I'm sorry, there is a formation of a double top. So let's keep an eye on this and see if it's going to bounce here, retrace a little bit and go back again, or if it's just going to go and crash this resistance level and keep going up. There's a big chance for that. So the RSI also doesn't look too bad. So there is a good chance that we can possibly not even worry about this double top formation. Tomorrow we should see what is the direction that this is taking. If I have to put my money on this, it's probably going to keep going up. And it's because of the behavior of the EMAs and also the behavior right here of the MACD and the TSI, but you never know. Volume is all right. It's not too high or too low. So I believe that going with this and would be ideal if it retests this level, and then that would be a nice way of placing a position right here if there is a good bounce right here, kind of like if we go up to this level, for example, come down and up, that'll be great. Let's do Disney now. On Disney, I don't like Disney as a company. I'm gonna be honest. I think that they are not doing too well in some of the franchises that they had, and to be honest, there's a lot of things that they had going on that were great, and they don't look as good today. But putting that aside, I think that it is actually, as a stock, you can tell here, this was pretty good. So we had this resistance level right here at 79 or 80, and then started moving up. It flagged a little bit, moved up. This is a tiny flag. I shouldn't even have this here. And then earnings gap up, which I don't like these kind of gaps. To me, they are like a magnet, either on the way up or on the way down. In this case, on the way down, and it ranged here for a little bit, moved up. Now it's breathing a little bit more, and here is where we have another great setup, I think, for a continuation of this move, which is probably gonna, if it continues going up, it's probably keep going up until the end of the week. So higher volume days are coming, probably are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Friday is a little lower. And again, the MACD is under the histogram, starting to move up, and the TSI is basically simultaneously doing the same move. The RSI is already, it's a little bit ahead of this move, but I like to see when these two indicators are basically in synchronicity of the entire move. So that is pretty cool. Again, I think this name is probably going to keep moving up, and probably take a look at this level right here, which is 123, and that's all I have for Disney. I like it, and again, well, not again, but just want to let you all know, this is not financial advice. That this is just what I see on the chart and what I think it could happen. But definitely, if you're going to be trading, be very careful, do your own research, and at the end of the day, make your own decisions, and don't base them from people in YouTube like me or anybody. Just, this is just an analysis, and this is just an opinion that could be helpful or not, whatever, but definitely don't take it as financial advice. Take it as a, conversation or something like that. Anyways, Google, what we have here in Google is, again, on the daily chart, we have this pretty big gap when we had earnings, and then it came down, which I think is good. But what I don't like about Google is that it's losing momentum on these areas right here, especially in this one candle, and it's losing volume. And another thing that I don't like, let's get rid of these things, is, let's clean this up a little bit, is how overextended the MACD is, and the TSI. The RSI is good, it's not oversold, but every time I see this, I just don't trade. I just wait for this to start turning a little bit, or wait for the price action to allow the indicators to catch up a little bit. So I wouldn't trade this with any kind of bullish intentions, I guess. And I wouldn't short this either. I would just let it develop a little bit and probably wait for this to go down, and then make a move if I like what I see on the chart. But Google's chart is a little bit messy in my opinion. I don't like all this crap. I don't know. Sometimes I trade it, sometimes I just stay away from it. And I think this is a period in which I will stay away from Google for a little bit. But yeah, this is what I see. I think that MACD and the TSI are way too extended, especially the MACD. And I don't see a lot of momentum. So, and I see this gap here. And again, I think gaps are magnets for bad news or good news, but I just don't like this. So let's move on to Meta. Meta on the daily. So we had this huge gap right here. This was on earnings, right here, earnings. Went up again, and I like to put these boxes here so I know when something, in my opinion, has to get covered. I feel like it will at some point or at some level. So, and it kind of happened. You can see that you had this massive gap right here. Earnings happened last week, and this disaster, and they actually had pretty good earnings until they decided to start talking about how much they're going to invest on their AI and whatever else they want to invest, and this is what happened. But then what I really like about this is the movement here on the MACD and TSI. So here you see them basically, both of them, and that's the behavior of these two indicators. They behave in a very similar way. So you had all this, not tradable on this area, I think. And around here, this is kind of, this divergence that I see here. But anyways, around here, you can actually see this very aggressive move down, obviously after earnings. And then you see this turning. I would wait, to be honest, for a couple of days, maybe until this gap covers. You will see. I like when the signal closes with the MACD or in the TSI. I like when this closes here, and then if it goes over the indicators, as soon as one day after it closes, I would probably be putting a position if that is what happens. So again, this is not financial advice, but this is what I see, and that's what I would do. The RSI is already moving in a very positive way, and obviously the candles are telling you that there is momentum, and there's this gap, and this is one of those examples that gaps are magnets on the way up or on the way down. So this thing right here, actually, if you can put it here, is a pretty good example. So somewhere around this area might be a good time to put a position here. Let's get rid of that anchor. And so yeah, we had this level right here, 452. I think the price right now on Meta is pretty decent, 465, but whatever. And now this gap is not as big. Now you can go this small, and so you have a gap on top and gap on the bottom. But I think this gap is probably gonna, get filled first. So maybe retests somewhere in this level, comes down and goes back up. But I think that Meta looks great, and you had all this momentum here. Meta really looks great. Microsoft. Here on Microsoft, well, not similar to Meta, but TSI and MACD again are pretty. They look pretty good compared to Meta. If we go back to Meta, they still open. I think this might be ready. Now, what I will be looking at tomorrow is this level right here at 415. See if it bounces back and takes it, or it just crushes it and goes over that resistance and keeps running. So then I would put a little bit of I would put a line here and see. But definitely it can run to 430, no problem. And I see what I like here. These are nicely under the histogram here and the zero line. The signals are crossing. I think that Microsoft for the next 2 days or so, or even a week, since this is a daily chart, looks pretty good. Tesla, I think that Tesla. If you've been trading Tesla for a while, you already know that is a pretty wild stock. Sometimes I love Tesla, sometimes I really hate it. and it's because it's so volatile, and the behavior of Tesla is never the best. And I was looking at this in the past, and it wasn't, and it still doesn't look good. So you have this gap here, lower gap, this gap here, this support level, this resistance, and I don't know. What I like about this is that the price action is on top of the SMA 35, and I really like this indicator, especially for long term, not long term, but for swings. So there might be something here, but what we have to do here is see if it's going to range on this level, is possible, or if this is going to go down and go up. There hasn't been a lot of momentum in Tesla in the past few days, but I think there might be something going on. I wouldn't trade Tesla for the next few days, and that's just my opinion. But I would like to see what happened in this level between 177 and 193, and that would give me a better idea if it's tradable or not. Anything under 193 or over 193 would be fantastic. But I think there is a good chance, and this is gonna cover at least this gap, and then rally all the way up. But we'll see. And I'm completely neutral on this, on the MACD and the TSI. Anything can happen here. It can just like range and nothing will happen. Well, that is the analysis for today. I don't have any other names. I might take a look at some of these names tomorrow, especially Microsoft, and probably, just Microsoft for now. And let me see, maybe Amazon. Is it this one? No, just Microsoft, Amazon. I really don't care much about Apple right now. And then for tomorrow, I might do Palantir. We all heard the news about Palantir today, so I might do Palantir tomorrow after close, SoFi, and I'll pick some other names. And if you're interested in some names that you want to take a look at the chart and whatnot, just put it on the comments, and I'll be happy to. If I think it's a good ticket, I'll be happy to put some time into that. But anyways, well, thank you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.